So you at Hofstra, it's
Yeah,
over, right?
yeah.
What's next now? Tell me about like were you drafted? Were you drafted free agent? Like what was that process like?
So I was so right out of college, I was I had I walked, but I had to take another class because again I think my junior senior year, and I was telling kids, listen, I tell the kids that I'll be helping out. Listen, if you go on the field, when you go on the field, you don't let nobody stop you. But when you go off that field, you can't let yourself stop you by
Hmm.
not taking care of grades or not or getting yourself in the wrong thing. So like my like junior senior year, I kind of my grades started acting up, but I got it right. And at the time, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go. I started waking up in the morning, running. Me and my boys started running in the morning. We would leave class and then go to Parisi Speed School,
Yeah.
do that, and that whole time it was like the draft was coming up. The draft was coming up, and when the draft was coming up, or not only the draft, but my pro day that we had a pro day at Hofstra. It's like, okay, well, when that pro day comes, I'm going to show out. Like, and the weeks before, I'm more, I wouldn't say nervous, but I'm more anxious the weeks before and months before because every move has to be calculated or
Yeah.
even have to take advantage of my opportunity. So I was really trying to go 100 miles an hour doing that, preparing. My agent was like, hey, listen, Reem, you run a 4.3, you'll get drafted. So I'm like, all right. In college, when I first got to college, I ran a 4.4. Then my senior year, I ran a 4.33. So my agent's like, yo, you run a 4.3, you're going to get drafted. I'm like, all right, cool. Like, say no more. Like, I was preparing 100 miles an hour. And I had other guys that were like my boy Kyle. Kyle was a dog. He played for the Patriots and the Bucks. He was fast from down south. But just preparing. When the pro day came, my agent said, you run a 4.3, you're going to get drafted. I ran a 4.28. I jumped 41 and a half. I did a 225 24 times, and I didn't get drafted. And it's just like, man, like I was kind of like crushed. I got a call from the Eagles, maybe a call from the Bills, a workout with the Bills. I didn't get signed. And so that whole year was like, all right, Lord, I believe that you gave me a dream to play in the NFL. I was working out. And then like I really started to believe that the Lord started to move my life in 2008 where I started praying more. Lord, speak to me more. Help me. I believe in what you showed me. I had moved home from Hofstra to my mom's house back home. And so I would go to Union High School, run the field, run, and sprint, just preparing for this place that I
Yeah.
believe still I would get to. And afterwards, I just on my knees crying, like, Lord, help me. Like, I know what you showed me. And people saying, well, why don't you go be a teacher, go do construction, just go do something. It's like, nah. Like, I listen to too many adults sometimes say, man, when I was your age, I wish I would have did that. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to live with no regret. I'm going to go 100 miles an hour at what I believe the Lord put inside me. Started going to church, reading the Bible. Lord, speak to my heart. Speak to my heart. And then I met a blind man, and that blind man ended up knowing somebody else that was on that a friend of his knew somebody else was on the Jets coaching staff. That Jets coaching staff guy went down to the Bucks in the next year, which was January. Then Raheem became the Buccaneers head coach.
He was a
And
head
the
coach,
guy,
right? Yeah.
yeah, Rob
Yeah.
became the head coach of the Bucks, and then the guy who I was connected to knew the guy that was on the Bucks, and then told Raheem about me. Raheem called me that next if I had the pro day in March. The next January, Rob said, "Hey, Reem, you in the shape?" I said, "Hello." He said, "Reem, this Rob. Hey, get on the plane, get down here, we'll get you signed." I'm like, "Let's go, Lord, let's go." I've been
Yeah.
preparing, like
Yeah.
working out, training. I went down to Tampa Bay. I went on a tryout, and they had some other guys there. After the tryout, they say, all right, we want to give you a contract. I signed the contract. They sent me home just to kind of pack my stuff. I got
Yeah.
home to my mom's crib. I sat in the bed, and she's like, Reem, what happened? I'm like, Mom, they signed me. I was just in tears, like, man, like, they signed me. Like, like, I believed in God for this place. Like, and so
So
I
you
went
know,
down there and just went went hard. Like, just it was just a blessing just to sit out and persevere and believe God, and even my own self kind of get a little uneasy, but I believe God. And then met a blind man and this man, and then Rob said, "Yo, K." I said, "Hello." He said, "Yeah, this is Rob." I'm like, "All right, what's up, Rob?"
all right. Well, give me 1 second. This is
Yeah.
Tyler Perry. My bad, yo. Tyler Perry called me. He wanna do a movie on your story because
Hey,
he got one of his assistants tuning in and shit. He said he wanna do a movie. So listen, uh, they always say if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. You know
you
what I
gotta get
mean?
ready.
That's
Yeah,
what I always believe. So here go the amazing thing. You get to the league, right?
yeah,
Through God's grace, you get to the league, and you are experiencing some success.
yeah.
And then what happens?
Man, so I got to the league in my rookie year. I made the active roster last couple games, and then my second year I ended up split time with starter, like balling. You know, like I had played against the Steelers, played against the Browns. I mean, got some carries against the Saints. So as I was, you know, it was cool just to have. They had like a Huggy package, like they called me Huggy. So I had packages specifically for me. You know what I mean? And I went to it was, I went to like some I went to go to some store, and like the guy was like, "Hey man, I know you are. I got you on my fantasy." And I'm like, "Man, that's cool."
That's
And
crazy.
so yeah, that's crazy. And I got the Madden. I was on the Madden, and so I was playing against the Saints, and got some good runs. Was feeling real good. Uh, I had an out route. Josh threw me. Josh Freeman was the quarterback. He threw me an
Damn.
out,
True.
and caught the ball, and the Saints linebacker hit my knee only, and I went down. Like it was when I went down, I was fine, and everybody, the doctors came over, and the Saints like, "Yo, Reem, come on, get up," like as if they knew me, like as if something was wrong. And mind you, my boy Marcus Colston was on the team, so he's like, "Reem, you all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." And so the trainers went out to the field, and as they went out to the field and they messed with my knee, they're like, "Hey, Reem, you want a cart? Huggy, you want a cart?" I'm like, "Nah, I'm fine. I just walk it off. I'm good." And so they said, "You sure?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sure." And so when I got to the sideline, it felt like somebody shot me in the knee. Like it felt like somebody shot me, and it started to burn. And I'm like, "Man, get the cart, get the cart!" Like I don't know what's wrong. Like something was wrong.
Yeah.
And I got inside. They sent me on the X-ray, and as I was on the table, my knee was burning, and I don't know what was up. I didn't know what was up, and they ended up telling me that I tore my ACL, MCL, meniscus, and then I just started crying.
That's the big three: the ACL, the MCL, and the meniscus.
Yeah, like I got to the side, I got inside, and I just started tearing, and it wasn't even because my knee was hurting. It's just because, my Lord, man, I just went through so much,
To
and
get here,
yeah, I went
well,
through so much to get there that it crushed me. I went from being a tryout to, well, sitting out to tryout to now playing, earning money, helping my family, like to like just getting hurt and having I had lost so much energy. I couldn't even take my clothes off. I couldn't take
yeah.
my pads. Like, Reem, take your pads off. I'm like, nah, I can't move. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you. So how old are you?
I'm 34.
34. Check this out.
Yeah,
I firmly believe, and I believe this from experience. Like all of the, and hopefully there are no kids
yeah,
watching this, right? So you got like shit and dirt go together because the shit fertilizes and then things grow from that, right?
yeah,
So with all that you've been through to get to that point, you're prepared now at this point to make the comeback because you know
yeah,
what it is to grind. You know what it is to
yeah,
be hungry. You know what it is to have those feelings and emotions. You know what it is to be at the bottom, had to work your way up. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Which leads us to the next phase, which is going to be the best phase.